so today we're going to be doing a political talk. Reaction.
A reaction.
Yeah.
The first time.
First time.
But not a last time.
Definitely not last time. Yeah. I've lived in South Africa my whole life, and it's always been black against white. Always.
Yeah.
I've spoken to Africans, and they say that the old South Africa was better.
Yeah.
There was growth, there was job creation, there was better schooling, education, there was more law and order.
Yeah.
And the white against black crime did exist. I'm not denying it, but it wasn't as high as what the actual black on black crime was.
Yes.
And that's virtually hasn't changed till today.
Yeah.
There's so much intimidation, there's so much, like, if you don't abide by whatever party happens to be in power, as we know, ANC, then you are a traitor to the whole nation.
Yeah.
That happens to be black.
That's why, I mean, the mindset is very communist.
Yeah.
It's you as a cog in society need to submit to the state.
Yeah.
Otherwise, things aren't going to work out too well for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how the left movement overseas sold it.
Yeah.
I remember in the 1980s, 1970s, 1980s, these journalists would come from Europe, the UK, America, and take pictures of Africans lying in the park sleeping and accuse the white people of actually murdering them.
Yeah.
And that's where we were also wrong. We actually were not fighting back against that, against those lies.
Yeah. Because I suppose also the fighting back, it leaves a bit of room for people criticizing you about the fact that you're fighting back, especially people, talking heads overseas, who had no idea what was going on actually.
Yeah.
But they just heard what was covered by, legacy media and stuff like that, and they came to their own conclusion that, oh, this is what's actually happening. It's actually the white man that's aggressing, when it's actually the opposite. It's the black man aggressing, but he's aggressing even on his own people.
Yeah.
And the white man was the scapegoat.
Yes. And we're seeing that happening nowadays.
Yeah.
With the pro-Hamas.
And I think also, just to point out to all the people that are overseas that might be watching this, it's in South Africa. It's a little bit different than America, for instance. The white people here in South Africa were the minority. Just by the way.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't know that,
yes.
were in fact the minority. And I think a lot of people tend to forget that and simply look at us through the lens of their culture, where they come from, and they assume, because whites are the majority there, where they come from, then by default it must mean that the whites are also the majority in South Africa. It's very much not the case. It's very much not the case. Yeah.
And because I always thought that the people in the US are like generally well-traveled, but they're not.
No, they're not. No, not
They're
really.
really not.
No.
They are under this false illusion that, like, all the countries, because they are the world, and we just, I don't know, little, like, rocks floating around them,
Yeah.
that we are like them.
Yeah.
We're not.
Yeah.
We are not like you.
Yeah.
And I've never particularly liked people from the US.
Yeah.
Like,
And yeah,
I'm not talking about certain people. I'm talking about the mindset.
The mindset is
of
yeah.
the people in the US.
Yeah.
Like,
And just also, like, I mean, there's lots of white people with a crazy mindset here in South Africa.
yeah.
In as much as there's a lot of black people with the right kind of mindset
Yes.
here in South Africa.
Yes.
It's got nothing to do with the color of your skin.
No.
It's what's between your ears.
Yes.
That's what makes the world of difference. You know, it's not a race thing, it's an intelligence thing.
Yeah.
It's looking at things objectively as opposed to subjectively. And I think that's where the wheels of communism start to kick in, because communism looks great on paper, but in reality it never does work out, because it's not capable of being self-sustaining. It's somebody's always going to get the short end of the stick, and more often than not, in fact every single time, it's the lowest of the low that get the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
And the elites get everything.
Yeah.
And the rest of us get absolutely nothing.
And we can see that worldwide.
And yet for all the progressives' standpoints when it comes to they want to progress so everybody is on a equal playing field, you know, equality being a buzzword here. If you want equality, communism and socialism is exactly the opposite of what you would go for in terms of a system of rule and governance.
Yeah.
It's exactly the opposite. And to try and get people to see that when they've drank the Kool-Aid for so long. Because once again, they're looking at it through the lens of, this is what it says on the paper though. This is what it says on the paper. We need to stick to this. Look what it says on the paper. It's going to work. And everybody else with, you know, two brain cells to rub together, it doesn't work, because we know what history dictates.
Yeah.
When regimes have attempted to put communism into the mix.
Those ideas, and like, just logically, have you ever seen leaders with that mindset? Do they ever take out of their own pocket and help?
Yeah.
They will always turn around. The people down at the bottom there must help those people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those ones at the top will be wearing the, like, fancy suits with the fancy cars and the fancy girls and the fancy houses.
Yeah.
Because people generally are greedy.
Yeah.
And selfish and just think about themselves.
Okay, well, should we play the clip?
Yeah. There's a bit of a lag, but never mind. We'll take it out now with editing.
I will be happy to mure bure. That will be nice. An Afrikaner blood. I want the blood of an Afrikaner. Bring the blood of an Afrikaner. I want it.
We want Jackie Hayes. We must have speaker.
So for the people who don't understand Afrikaans, that man was saying that he wants to kill farmers. He wants to actually moer them.
Yeah, a boer is a farmer. Yeah.
Yeah. And he wants the
Wants their blood. Yeah.
blood.
Yeah.
Anything, any sane human being that talks like that has got to be demonic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yet it's funny if the shoe was on another foot and that was a white guy
Saying that,
calling for the blood of
Africans.
An African, that's working the land or something like that, to put it in, an apple for an apple kind of thing. If there was a black man that was a farmer, and that was a white politician that was busy saying that, there would be
uproar.
riots on
Worldwide.
the streets. Yeah, and worldwide. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because legacy media would cover it, and all of a sudden it goes back to that thing of, there's the white supremacist once again. And especially once again, I bring up the whole idea of in the international community, they've still got the mindset of, the white people are the majority here in South Africa. This is why I keep on reiterating, we are the minority.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
There are very few white babies being born. Because generally white people care about their I'm not saying that Africans don't care about their kids, but generally white people want a stable household,
yeah.
some kind of financial means to have children.
Yeah. Well, I think any logical human being would want
Yeah,
a stable
yes,
household.
yes.
Like it's
Like,
it's not
I mean,
yeah.
If we had to do a poll, everybody wants a home, a family where it's stable, work where it's stable,
Yeah.
leaders that are looking out for the best interests of the country, not themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to break this down. Say, for example, this happens.
Yeah.
The farmers get killed. Okay, great. What then?
Yeah.
What is logically the consequences of that?
Yeah. Like who's going to then work the land, and who's then got the know-how to work the land? For the sake of, this whole talk about land reparations, I'm all for land reparations in the sense of,
Let's set the record straight with that one.
I'm all for the sake of land reparations insofar as the best and most qualified people who are going to work and produce something from the land, they're the ones that can work the land.
Yeah.
Like a land reparation is for the sake of the broader picture, is for the sake of contributing to the people around you and to the nation that you're in. If you're going to have a land reparation for the sake of giving one family or one tribe or whatever the case may be, irrespective of color, but if your whole idea is, giving people the land so they can simply go there and build a little mansion for themselves and do absolutely nothing with that land insofar as they're only seeking their own self-interest on that land, then I don't see how that could benefit anybody else besides that person or that tribe or that group of people, irrespective of what color skin they are.
And if you think about it, farmers feed the nation. That's it. Farmers feed the nation.
Yeah.
If there are no farmers, no food, famine, die, death. That's it. Full stop.
And contrary to popular opinion, especially from the left, the food is grown on a farm. It doesn't get produced at some magical, factory behind the shopping center that you go to. It doesn't just magically appear. The burger patties just regrow in the shopping center. It's sorry about the dogs. It's one of those things. But they don't just magically regrow when you go buy a pack of burger patties. Another burger patty pack doesn't just reappear, overnight. Like the little elves from Santa, they go ahead and replace the one that the stuff comes from a farm, and people work the land in order to produce those kinds of things which we all enjoy. So,
and farmers are not causing climate change.
No, if anything, cow farts and that kind of stuff, it's good. It's good for...
It causes a greenhouse. What is a greenhouse? It's a good thing.
The cows came from God, and they were for a purpose, and it's the whole ecosystem that works together that God, through intelligent design, created. It's one hand washes another kind of mentality.
Yeah, so we're going to get back to the whole topic.
Yes.
Okay, so we really need to have a voice against this stupidity.
Yeah.
And just imagine the price of food if, all the farmers are killed.
Yeah, astronomical, yeah.
Would the normal middle class and poorer be able to afford food?
No.
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 It will only be the politicians.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all of us are going to be serfs to them.
Yeah.
Including the activists that are wanting to push for socialism.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are going to be the first to become serfs.
Yeah. And I mean, socialism is the death of a country.
Yes. Yeah.
And to get out of the cultural mindset and to actually learn.
Yeah.
And to find out stuff for yourself.
And people can bring up all these little, fancy little examples of Sweden and all kinds of stuff. Have you seen Sweden lately? As a result
it's overrun with Muslims.
Yeah. Yeah.
Europe is not Europe I actually remember.
Yeah.
It's not. It's gone.
Yeah.
The UK's gone as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what Charles is going to be king of. Is Charles going to be king of the Muslims?
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. So, alright, so I've just got some historical,
yeah.
Facts checked. The people from Holland came to South Africa in 1652. The Zulu came to South Africa in 1709. English came here in 1795. The what's it? Songa?
Oh, Tonga, yeah.
Came here 1800. The Xhosa came here 1811. The
Tswana, yeah.
Tswana came here 1852.
The Siswati.
Siswati came here 1837. So the question begs to be asked, who happened to be here first?
Well, besides the Khoisan, shall we say, who were here, we don't know when they got here, but they were here for a long time.
To be here first.
But just based on that, then clearly the Dutch got here first. After the Khoisan, I mean, yeah. The Dutch were the first
Yes, yeah.
out of this group to get here.
So when you hear
So that's
land
reparations, yeah.
reparations,
it's a bit interesting.
it's not your land.
Yeah.
You stole it.
If anything, by logic, that would dictate that all the land initially belongs to the first inhabitants,
Yes.
the Khoisan.
Yes.
They then are the ones that are going to go ahead and decide which land belongs to who.
Yeah.
So
if you're wanting land reparation,
yeah.
You shouldn't be asking for it because it's not your land.
No.
And it should be asked by the Khoisan.
That's right.
If okay, anything.
Yeah.
And I always find this amusing because they will always just pick out a piece of land with fancy houses on, square it off and say, you are building on, our land, pay me money.
Yeah. It's not necessarily going to be land out in the middle of bloody nowhere.
Yeah, it's going to be posh.
It's going to be prime
area.
real estate in Santon, for instance. For those who don't know, Santon would be the equivalent of I suppose, like Hollywood, for instance.
Yeah.
If you want to get a apples for apples kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's they're quite.
Or it will be somewhere fancy like in Nasna.
Nice
or
or something
in
like that.
Cape Town.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you've got no records.
Yeah.
You've got no actual documentation, aged. I'm not talking about nice white paper. I'm talking about aged.
Yeah.
To come and claim.
Yeah.
So I've been wanting to actually do this for a while now.
No, it's good. I mean, people need to know. So yeah.
And I think we honestly need to think about where is South Africa going to be in 10 years' time, 20 years' time.
Yeah.
And we are a republic. We are not a democracy.
Yes. Yeah.
Just because some party came into power and made it one.
Yeah.
And started using that word, it doesn't change the actual foundation.
Yeah.
We are a republic.
Yeah, and there's a difference between submitting to the law and submitting to the government.
Yeah.
You submit to the law. You don't submit to the government.
Yeah. And I really hope that whoever watches this will start thinking and start asking questions and start doing research for themselves.
Because I find too often it's the people that are ignorant that unfortunately have the loudest voices when it comes to social media, when it comes to all these things that we see online, and it causes unnecessary harm, and it's quite dangerous when you think about what happened to Donald Trump and all kinds of things, and it's
that really concerns me.
You're causing unnecessary hate. Well, I mean, hate is always unnecessary because it's just a lack of communication at the end of the day, but these things have real world consequences.
Yeah.
And I think people forget that far too often when you're sitting at home watching your favorite influencer or whatever, and whatever nonsense is spouting out of their mouth. Those words are going into your brain and they're affecting your ideology.
Yeah, and they also affecting the other people that are not very well educated.
Yeah.
Have got the mentality of wanting to actually fit in to whatever segment is going on at that moment, at that time.
Yeah. Especially young people these days, they're getting heavily influenced by all sorts of stuff on social media, and a lot of it just isn't good.
Yeah. And I believe that a child should only have a cell phone at the age of 18.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
really.
This should be your social media
Yeah,
up until 18.
yeah. Because these children have got no grounding whatsoever, and the grounding that they do get
Yeah.
is from the whoever is the most hottest thing at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it.
Good.